what you're thinking. How did this happen? Well, it's a long story.
Is dead.
Hi there. What have you brought today? Tell me.
A contender.
It's main event time. And now, I give you your incredible...
Yes! We know each other. He's a friend from work.
Oh, come on.
And that was the moment that I knew that the Thor franchise was safe. God bless you, Taika Waititi. At least early on. I know some people have a lot... I know a lot of people are very mixed on Thor: Love and Thunder, but I don't care, man. I still love that... I still like that movie. I still like it better than Thor: The Dark World, and even the first Thor movie, but... Welcome to Time About the Movies, everybody. It is November 3rd, 2017. It is the holiday movie season, finally. And once again, just like last year, Marvel and Disney are starting it off with a banger with Thor: Ragnarok. Thor is imprisoned on the other side of the universe and finds himself in a race against time to get back to Asgard to stop Ragnarok, the destruction of his homeworld, and the end of Asgardian civilization at the hands of an all-powerful new threat, the ruthless Hela, played by Cate Blanchett. And as I've said before, man, the Thor movies have easily been the weakest of the MCU movies up to this point. Thor was okay, but nothing spectacular. Thor: The Dark World was a slight improvement, but even then, it was largely forgettable, but especially nowhere compared to what came after that with The Winter Soldier and Guardians of the Galaxy 2, in terms of being better than the original film. And it's unfortunate, because regardless of how lackluster those films are, the character of Thor has always been great to watch thanks to the commitment of Chris Hemsworth that he brings to the role, and with this film, I can honestly say that they have not only fixed a lot of the problems of those solo Thor movies, but they made not only the best Thor movie, but what was at that point the funniest MCU movie to that time. I mean, this was a year when Guardians of the Galaxy 2 came out, and that was just as hilarious. I mean, right from the beginning, I was hooked, and it was pretty clear that there's much more of a humorous approach being taken here, a la Guardians of the Galaxy-esque, and it just works. Like, you're along for the ride from the start, and it never lets you go. Where do you even begin with a film like this? Well, for one thing, I like how much of an 80s action-adventure feel this movie has. You could definitely tell this film had the homages and references to numerous things from the 80s and stuff like, Big Trouble in Little China, this is basically Marvel's Big Trouble in Little China, but there's even little references to stuff like, Blade Runner and Men in Black, and even Marvel's own work in here. But the greatest aspect about this movie is the humor, especially when they make fun of themselves. This movie satirized their own cinematic universe in such a clever way. The biggest example is when you parody two crucial Hulk moments from both the Avengers and Age of Ultron, and the way they did it in this was just pitch perfect. I really love what they did here. The humor all around is just great. I think the comedy is top-notch, and there were times that I was laughing long and hard. Like, the funniest moment in the whole movie is when they straight up parody the Willy Wonka tunnel scene. I swear to God, I laughed so hard. I thought I was going to fall out of my seat when I first saw this in theaters. It just kind of like, it just takes you out of nowhere. It's just kind of like, it's so hilarious. And it just works because Chris Hemsworth's scared as shit performance and just how abrupt it presents itself. It's great, man. It's friggin' hilarious. And again, the cast is once again terrific. Hemsworth and Hiddleston are great in this. When Anthony Hopkins has to be like Loki, it's fun to watch. And, hey, you can never go wrong with Jeff Goldblum in your movie, and I think this is him in his absolute best. Mark Ruffalo is great as the Hulk in this. It's amazing how they made probably the best Hulk movie and did it within a Thor film itself. I really like Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie on there. From the moment she shows up on a screen drunk as a sailor and falling off the side of a ship, she was already a million times better than Natalie Portman was in the other two Thor movies. I mean, right off the get-go, man, like, she was great. Kate Blanchett as Hela was great. I mean, you can tell she's having a ball with this role, and she creates easily one of the best villains in the MCU so far. I even like Carl Urban for the little bit of a role he shows up in here, and even Benedict Cumberbatch has a stinger. You know, it's basically just doing the same scene from the mid-credit stinger for Doctor Strange. It's still fun to watch overall, and it doesn't feel like it's just there for a pointless cameo. It's there to be part of the storyline. But the visual look of the movie is absolutely gorgeous. Every scene in this is bright, vibrant, colorful, just exciting to look at. You watch this and you feel like you're watching 80s album covers like Queen's News of the World or the Bad Outta Hell albums from Meatloaf coming to life. Like, I really am trying to figure out if there's anything in this movie I didn't like about it, and honestly, no. I really do not. This movie was easily one of the best movies the MCU had put out at that point. It's just so much fun. Great acting, tons of hilarious moments all around, great action, great visuals. This is an 80s movie lover's dream come true. And I love a lot of 80s movies and TV shows, and this was just my bread and butter. This is easily the best Thor movie that's come out. I mean, this is a movie that is about as good as it's going to get, and it proves that the MCU at this time was still creating some of the best must-see superhero movies out there, and that trend was not going to come to an end, at least in the next year or so, because, you know, you got Black Panther coming up, Avengers Infinity War, and then Ant-Man and the Wasp after that. I mean, it's still a good time before we see the MCU start to crack a little bit here, but that's not for another couple of years, so. But Thor Ragnarok is great. Now, here's a sequel that's not great. In fact, it's absolutely 100% pointless, much like this trailer I found. I'll explain why once I show you a little bit from A Bad Mom's Christmas.
I'm here to see my daughter on Easter.
It's Christmas.
Christmas.
Celebrate.
Moms don't enjoy, they give joy.
Like a mother.
You were gonna be my best friend forever.
We went to prom together.
Oh, Lord.
A Bad Mom's Christmas. Rated R.
Susan Sarandon and Christine Baranski, you should know better than this. Cheryl Hines, I would say that at one point, but you're married to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and I'm really pretty sure that, you making this decision at 9 Lives, you're probably not as smart. You're probably not the smartest of the three that are in this movie here. But hey, it's the sequel nobody was asking for, A Bad Mom's Christmas, and that TV spot, by the way, when I clicked on that video, it said 30 seconds long. Notice that was only 15 seconds, so they put 15 seconds of filler at the end of that video, of just them, you know, putting the website on there and then having a picture of the poster, and that's it. Like, if you're gonna do that, give us a full 30-second spot. Don't just do a 15-second spot and then have the 15 seconds be ads. That'd be like me doing an entire video length of about 15 minutes, only giving you 7.5 minutes of review, and the other 7.5 minutes is me promoting the shit out of Christmas in July, which, by the way, is going on right now. We have Home Alone 2 out right now, and Frosty Returns is coming out tomorrow. But, yeah, you're certainly not going to find A Bad Mom's Christmas on that Christmas in July list anytime soon. The plot follows the three moms from the first film, Mila Kunis, Kristen Bell, and Catherine Hahn, dealing with their own mothers, Christine Baranski, Cheryl Hines, and Susan Sarandon, visiting during the Christmas holiday. And that's literally it. That's all this movie is. They don't even have a plot to work with here. The first movie was an unexpected success, so STX basically came to the same directors and said, we want a sequel now, but we don't have a script for a sequel. We want a sequel now. We don't care. Set it at Christmas time, and, you know, hey, you'll make money off of it because it'll get to play on Christmas every year on TV. And, yeah, sure enough, this has been playing on TV every Christmas since then, and I don't get why. This is about as... It's so bad I can't even think of a good critique for it. It's just a bad movie. It's a really pointless sequel. That it's not even one of those sequels that comes way after the original film. This came a year and a half after the first movie, and they had nothing to work with here. All they did was basically just do Christmas raunchier with the additions of these three heavyweight actresses involved here, with Christine Baranski, Cheryl Hines, and Susan Sarandon. You know, it's just a bad movie. It's not funny. It's not clever. It's not enjoyable in its stupidity. It's just a terrible movie, and it's so boring, so lifeless. There's just nothing there. I mean, I'll give the first movie credit where credit is due. They were at least trying to tell a story. This literally is the definition of a cash grab film. Wayne Newton shows up also in here too, because why not? I mean, that's how you know a sequel is running out of ideas. When I have to go to Wayne Newton of all people, and Kenny G's also in here too, and Wanda Sykes. Yeah, Wanda Sykes has been doing stuff that's relevant up to this point for a while now. Not really, but yeah, they were really running out of ideas at this point. Peter Gallagher is in here. Yeah, I think this. I can't tell if this was before or after we canceled him because of the stuff he did. But yeah, this is a bad movie, man. This is a terrible, terrible film. It's not funny. You could just tell it was made for a cash grab, and sadly, sadly, this is not even the last of the sequels that came out around this time that set itself around Christmas and tried to sell that as their selling point. As we'll get to with next week's Christmas release, a Christmas comedy release, it's a sequel to a film that was successful 2 years ago. That one is slightly better, but not even then. It's not great. But at least they at least try to put some effort into that one a little bit. This one does not. A Bad Mom's Christmas is just a bad movie, man. Like this is awful. This is just absolutely awful. Awful stuff. So, yeah, let's go ahead and move on to our next movie, and that is Woody Harrelson starring as Lyndon B. Johnson in LBJ.
A new leader has emerged.
America has a Southern president. You're going to lose the support of the people who've always had your back.
Kennedy, he's a man of great ideas. Now the country needs a man who can deliver.
There will be no compromise. This will define your presidency. I can only hope.
LBJ.
Oh, yeah, this was directed by Rob Reiner. I completely forgot about that. And sadly, this is another one of those movies that had a lot of potential to it, especially with Woody Harrelson. I mean, Woody Harrelson can do a southern accent. I mean, he is from the South, if I'm not mistaken. Midland, Texas. So yeah, he's from the South. He can do a southern accent, and I mean, it's not that it's a bad performance. It's just it's one of those performances that's hiding behind some terrible makeup work. I mean, this makeup work is awful, and not to mention you had a much better movie with Lyndon B. Johnson coming out beforehand with All the Way, which was the film that had Bryan Cranston as LBJ, and that was definitely the much better film. But this one, yeah, this one is just it's a disappointment. It's about Lyndon B. Johnson, who became the president after JFK got assassinated, and so it follows his life after he became the president. And other than that, though, that's pretty much about it. I mean, granted, Woody Harrelson's doing the best he can with the material given to him, but it's a movie that does feel like your typical safe and marketable biopic, where it doesn't really do anything that squeezes out anything juicy or anything that would be innovative or interesting for the people that don't know the story about this guy already. It just kind of plays it way too safe. Has too good of a cast to play it too safe. Richard Jenkins, Bill Pullman, Michael Stahl-David, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Jeffrey Donovan, C. Thomas Howell, Michael Mosley. A very good cast involved in this film, and a solid director, but there's just nothing there. And like I said, this was coming at a time when Rob Reiner was kind of in a slump. I've been talking about recent directors who should go to the Hollywood retirement home because their time had passed. And sadly, Rob Reiner seemed like he was going down that pathway up until the last couple of films he made. He did a good documentary about Albert Brooks, and then he did Spinal Tap 2, which was one of those big surprises I did not see coming. It was actually pretty good for a comedy sequel coming over 40 years after the original film. And then, of course, his son killed him. So, yeah, that really sucks. But hey, at least he came back on somewhat of a high note towards the end. But yeah, this is still that lull, and this is definitely one of those movies that's largely forgettable and it just doesn't work. So yeah, you could easily skip LBJ. But there was at least one good movie that came out in independent release this weekend, and that is Greta Gerwig's directorial effort, Lady Bird.
You're spending your last Thanksgiving with a family you've never met instead of us.
Bingo.
This Thanksgiving.
Mom was really sad you weren't here to Thanksgiving.
Yeah, well,
she hates me.
They both have such strong personalities.
Lady Bird is a cause for celebration.
I want you to be the best version of yourself.
Funny, heartbreaking, and utterly original. It's flat out wonderful.
I wanted to tell you, thank you.
Lady Bird, rated R, now playing in select theaters.
You know, it's funny, after I stopped recording, I realized that Lady Bird is also the name of Lyndon B. Johnson's wife, Lady Bird Johnson. So yeah, it kind of ties itself back together a little bit there. I was also thinking of King of the Hill whenever Luann talked about Hank's dog, Lady Bird, like that is, like, the dog, of course, from King of the Hill. But this is Lady Bird. This is actually the solo directorial debut for Greta Gerwig, who had directed one movie previously by... which was Nights and Weekends, which was I believe that was a mumblecore movie with Joe Swanberg, who did Drinking Buddies, and also I think he did No, he didn't do Rapturepalooza. He did Drunken Buddies, and I think Happy Christmas was the other one. But this is Greta Gerwig going at it on her own, and proving that yeah, she's got the directing chops overall after being in all these different comedies over the course of the start of the decade, stuff like Greenberg, No Strings Attached, and Lola Versus. And, of course, Frances Ha, which she wrote the script for that. This one in particular is set in Sacramento, California during the early 2000s, focusing on a high school senior played by Saoirse Ronan, who has a turbulent relationship with her mother, played by Laurie Metcalf. You also have a cast that includes Lucas Hedges, Timothy Chalamet, Beanie Feldstein, Stephen McKinley Henry, Tracy Letts, and Lois Smith. And like I said, it's a movie where you look at it and it's just like, yeah, you can definitely see this woman actually being a pretty solid director in the future, and she's definitely shown that with the stuff she's made after this. Little Women, Barbie, I think that's it after that. I mean, she's got the Narnia movie coming out pretty soon, but yeah, this is a really, really good movie, man. A good coming-of-age storyline here, featuring great performances across the board from Saoirse Ronan and Laurie Metcalf. Laurie Metcalf's always been one of those great actresses. She actually got an Oscar nomination for this, as did Ronan, and actually this got several Oscars, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Original Screenplay. And yeah, you can see why. It's a really good coming-of-age story with a lot of young talent in here, really good people involved in this that make an engaging story overall. It's a really good movie. It's one of those great movies that took me a long time to see it. I really came around to it once I saw Barbie and saw how great this director, Greta Gerwig, was. And I saw Little Women after that, and then this movie here. And yeah, all three of those films are really good. This is that movie that definitely shows what Greta Gerwig is capable of doing as a director, and she makes it work all across the board here. So yeah, definitely recommend Lady Bird. Not much more to say about that one. So let's go ahead and move on to our last movie that we have here. It's Richard Linklater's latest film, and that is Last Flag Flying.
The mule is a mauler, drinker, gambler.
We were in the service together with your pastor.
I haven't seen these men in decades.
I came here because I'm Quentin Arlington. I was wondering if you guys could come with me.
His Holiness can hardly walk, let alone handle a big rig. This is a rental with an automatic transmission.
Hello.
Hello, this is God. You're not going to get into heaven after all.
Say what?
Yeah, definitely a very different movie for Richard Linklater. I mean, this is a movie where it's going more for a straightforward dramatic approach, more of a dramedy type of an approach overall, and some people that might be turn them off a little bit here, because this thing wasn't the biggest hit overall. It largely came and went. Didn't do so bad with critics overall, but it was a movie that kind of came and went, and honestly, it took me a long time to finally see it, but how can you pass up a movie with Steve Carell, Bryan Cranston, and Lawrence Fishburne in it? They star as three Vietnam veterans who reunite after one of their sons is killed in the Iraq War. This is based off of a novel by Daryl Panikson, who also wrote the script for this. And yeah, it's a really, really good movie, and it shows that, it really does show you a lot of what these guys are capable of. I mean, like I said, how can you pass up a film with Steve Carell, Bryan Cranston, and Lawrence Fishburne working together? And again, it works because it's against type for director Richard Linklater, who's usually known for these coming-of-age comedies and these unique film approaches like Before Sunrise and also Boyhood and all that. And yeah, this is a movie where it seems like it's more straightforward of a movie about, patriotism and all that. But it has a different kind of approach than films we just looked at, like Thank You for Your Service or even American Sniper. And I like the approach they took from it. Plus, again, you get to see performances from people that are great comedic-wise, but really... It's like we always knew Lawrence Fishburne was a great dramatic actor, but you always forget that, how great Bryan Cranston's work is with Breaking Bad. Well, not really, because Bryan Cranston's proven he's been a great actor, but Steve Carell, you forget that Steve Carell's not just the funny comedy guy. He can be very good in dramatic performances. And this is another really good one here. Plus, you get to see Cicely Tyson in here, one of her last film roles. It's a good movie. It's a really, really good film. A very underrated gem of a film by Richard Linklater. I think it's one that definitely deserves a second appreciation overall. It's a really good film. Definitely check it out. If you can't find it on Blu-ray, you should be able to find it on Amazon because, well, it's an Amazon Studios movie. Of course it should be on there. But anyway, yeah. Definitely worth checking out Last Flag Flying. And thus, with all that said, we wrap up another episode of Time About the Movies. The next time we meet, we have the aforementioned Daddy's Home 2, which Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg return, but they bring along John Lithgow and Mel Gibson as their fathers. And like I said, it's another one of those sequels that's set around Christmas for no other reason except the fact that, hey, this is coming out around Christmas time, let's make it a Christmas movie. And needless to say, the results don't work as well as the first film was. I mean, at least it's better than Bad Moms Christmas, but then again, the shit I took this morning was much better than Bad Moms Christmas was. But we have the real winner of the weekend, Kenneth Branagh's star-studded Murder on the Orient Express remake with his first appearance as Hercule Poirot. And we also have one of the big Oscar contenders this year, one that won Frances McDormand her second Oscar, 3 Billings Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, from director Martin McDonagh. And I believe that is it, just those 3 films. So, Daddy's Home 2, Murder on the Orient Express, and 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. We'll take a look at those 3 films coming up tomorrow. So, well, that's it. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and do me the honors of hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and don't forget to check out the previous episode we did. With all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.